Welcome to Astro Voodoo, the YouTube channel where we attempt to discover the facts. I'm EJ Hot, the host of this channel, and I'm here to give you my heart and soul and passion to make sure I bring you the best content regarding the truth. Without further ado, okay, but wait a minute. And by the way, please subscribe right there in the button you see right there on the screen. And then also hit the like button, because I'm quite sure this will be something that you will love. But without further ado, let's expose the elephant in the room. Okay, so today's topic is called the money changers. It all started with the invention of the One World Bank, the central bank. This central bank was positioned and scattered throughout Europe, and this bank monopolized all monetary transactions adjacent to the European domain, and today, you know, America, the New World. This was just the start of a worldwide plot to control and take hold of the world's monetary system and supply throughout the world. So the question is, who owns and controls the production of money? Well, the truth is public knowledge, but there's still some networkings and inner workings and secrecy that is pure evil that I will shed light on. The inventors of the federal system of money are known as the Rothschild family. Now, they didn't quite invent it, because before them there were numerous others. And we could go ahead for days and days and on for months and months describing the details of those numerous others. But just to name a few, they were robber barons, money changers of days old. But the Rothschilds, they started from a family of lowly positions to gain much wealth and prestige, amassing fortune throughout the globe. They were living in the Jewish ghetto, involved in the business of small-time money changing, what we today would probably call a pawn shop. Now, the head of the household, Meyer Amschel Rothschild, he also inherited that surname meaning red shield by his ancestors, who also were in the money business, but can be identified as a symbol of satanic origin. Now, the six-pointed star, a hexagram, a hexagon, I will explain upon this in a real deep way in an analysis in its own video. But back to this. Rothschild was an apprentice of an unnamed grandson of Samuel Oppenheimer. Now, Samuel was also a banker in the 17th century. And we learn about Samuel Oppenheimer, and we see back in his day, he was funding nations. I mean, this man had so much money. He had considerable funds of wealth that he was able to fund the Roman Empire. And the Roman Emperor was at his beckon. He funded the Turkish War. And many other wars were funded by this line. So as I go on. Now he, Oppenheimer, of course, acquired with power of his money some very old Hebrew manuscripts. Some say that contains magic. But, you know, that's another story. We can go deeper into that about Hebrew manuscripts and magic. But now we're just going to stick with the money changers. He was one of but a few Jewish people, Ashkenazi Jews, who had favor with the emperor due to his ability to control the monetary system. Now, if he had more money than me, I might be in your favor as well. So, superseding the wealth and power of the Holy Roman Empire of the time frame, that's what he was capable of doing. and him and his other, colleagues and those who were in business with him. And we're talking about, big money. When you got more money than royalty, you got some big money. Yet Oppenheimer died, apparently indebted to the empire. Who knows what really went down, but his science of money is partly the origin of how money came to be as we know it today. Now, he passed on to his descendants, which they too were nobility, and also he gave them the ability to have a seat in the success of implementing the system of money and money changing. Now, this money changing system gave them the ability not only to control everything, but to monopolize the institution and the world by issuing notes of no value, just plain paper. And Oppenheimer and his son, Simon Wolf, also a court Jew, carried out the banking duties of his dad. And it continued on and on until it was passed to the Rothschilds, but then his grandson was that. So let me explain to you what a court Jew is. Okay, this gets deep. Now, a court Jew is a term stating that this is one who has the power over the finances of nations, nobility, royalty. It's a European concept, but it's precisely German. Just a quick note in hierarchy. Now, notable court Jews are those such as Aaron of Lincoln, and we're talking like 11th, 12th century, and Wavelin of Strasbourg. These are but a few early money changers, and then they go back as early as 1,000 years back, and they learned this from someone too. And these money changers were wealthier than kings and emperors and queens and anybody of stature. They had all the money. They ran the system. They invented the finance system. Not to go off topic now, let's speed things up to the invention of the central banks by the money changers, or Rothschilds in this instance. Now here's a brief history lesson about the central bank concept so that I can help you identify how they have complete control over society. What they say goes. If they say jump, you gotta say how high, because they own everybody. Unfortunately, that's the case. When we sold ourselves over as a nation to this entity that we call the federal, that gave them the power. Now we have to take it back, of course, but it's going to be difficult, but we have to be aware of what we're working with and who we're fighting against. Now they took hold and they own the rights of the monetary systems. And this is prevalent throughout the world. 7 continents, they got their feet on each last one of them. So as we go on, now the central bank or central bank is a distribution center that essentially is in charge of the money throughout the world. Just to sum it up, then you ask, what does this have to do with anything? Well, the fact is, for thousands of years, mankind has been dumbfounded by the acceptance of lies and reinterpretations. And people have conquered lands and destroyed the people and their resources and took hold of those lands. And they fed those people that they conquered lies. They made them worship their gods. They made them practice their beliefs. And they raped and pillaged the land. So And then also, let's have a critical mind. When looking at the facts, never judge a book by its cover. It's always a wolf in sheep clothing. Remember that term, a wolf in sheep's clothing. And then that's just how it is. And rituals are being performed as we speak. This is what we can call some serious monetary voodoo. Now, whoever controls the banking system or the central bank has the ability to shape and scope and influence everybody in the world throughout every industry, and this is how they maintain control. As such, with the Rothschilds, you don't hear too much about them. How dare the media try to report anything about them? They're off limits. The media is off limits when it comes down to the Rothschilds. Now, the Rothschilds, in order to maintain their position, they have to do things such as rituals, sexual rituals, incestual rituals, blood oaths, and they have to have total dedication to an evil that you can only just imagine, just to keep this thing going, just to keep this hate, just to keep this atrocity going, to keep wars going, and look at the children dying, and destroy the planet with the animals, and the digging deeper, and messing with the ozone layer and everything. Man has really worked his number, but the root to all of this nonsense is the monetary system, the dragon, the world, and we can get deeper into that, but then that's another video. But as we go on, okay, so the system and these people that run the world, they are literally putting their foot on the neck of all of us. Now it's time to go ahead and defeat this voodoo by the bankers, because it's on an elite global scale that they sacrifice billions of lives. First of all, with misinformation pulling the veil over the face of true humanity, and they are replacing the truth with fake, and they're replacing what's real with the superficial. Now, in the battle for world dominance, the banks have a head start. Hey, they've been doing this for years. Hey, they invented this game. Hey, they started this. But yet and still, it's a game that they invented, but in order to play the game, that don't mean that you're going to win the game because you invented the game. Now, we're in it to win the game. Although they do have that head start. Keep that in mind. They know what they're doing. Now, they have funded most contemporary wars with high-end, sophisticated weaponry. They funded racism, by the way, by making sure slavery was enforced for hundreds of years. Yes, slavery, the business of slavery. People made a lot of money. I mean, billions and trillions of dollars was made off of slavery. They still eating off of slavery. And slavery would not have been as prosperous without the funding that these banks provided. And they uphold the demonic influence of these institutions. Now the bankers and the banking system is essential for world power. How could you control the world if you don't have control over the money? That's the main asset. Now note, even the President of the United States is cut a check. And guess where his check is coming from? You don't have to guess who wrote it. We already know. So, I'm going to close with this. Now in 2021, we're experiencing a ripple effect. and it has just begun. Exposure is a must in order to achieve redemption. Now, 2020 was a woozy, but get ready for something much more bigger. So be concerned about this year. Now, of course, we must fight spirit with spirit. Spirit against spirit. Evil against good. Chaos against order. Because this is a battle for the soul of our nation. The nation of the Creator. The creation of the Creator. Which is the earth and everything in it. Now, this is supposed to be a nation of peace. So, how do we defeat this monetary system with spirituality? Although this appears to be a realm of strictly material gain. Now, the answer lies within yourself. Each has to shape the material, being self-sufficient, self-reliant, empathetic to those outside of self, regardless of the material. Just because someone doesn't have what you have, or someone doesn't have the ability or the drive that you possess, that's still God's creation. Now, the simple things like food, clothes, shelter, and, and excess stuff like luxury goods, and you're always at the Gucci store and Louis Vuitton and Yves Saint Laurent and all of these high-end game, these high-end luxury fashion brands and drugs. You got habits, you fall a victim to addiction because your mind just can't take it. Now, we need to fight hard to defeat the urge for materialism and to be proactive instead of reactive. And then we know that the mass media has lies and deceptions. They're going to keep you busy with the illusion, the distractions. Now, discretion is a key. Keep watching my vids for the content designed to awaken the masses. Subscribe, and let's grow. Hit the like button right underneath the screen and underneath the video, and peace and love. Hotel. Till another episode of Astro Voodoo.